It's Tuesday, August 13. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. The island's murder total has moved above the 800 mark as 11 of the 19 police divisions show increases over last year. Preliminary figures from the Jamaica Constabulary Force show 816 murders between January 1 and August 10. This is 13 more, or just about 2% above the corresponding period last year. The St. Andrew South Police Division, where a state of emergency is in place, has so far recorded 100 murders. There has been a noticeable slowdown in the killings in the division, with only 6 since the SOE was imposed on July 7. Clarendon, with 89 murders, comes second, followed by St. Catherine South and St. James, which both have recorded 81 murders. The figures also show shootings up by 11%, with 800 reported since the start of the year, with the reported cases of rape down by 11%. Science, Energy and Technology Minister Favour Williams says that the government is moving rapidly to complete the Data Protection Bill, which would better enable Jamaicans to safeguard their personal information online. Addressing the opening ceremony for the Coders of the Caribbean hackathon on Friday, Minister Williams said there are many companies that make a lot of money buying and selling more data without our knowledge, and so the regimes are being created around the world where we'll have the right to say how our personal data is used. She reiterated that cyber threats and data breaches are real, and although the government and the Cyber Incident Response Team try to prevent attacks, individuals and entities must take the requisite safeguards against cyber incidents. The Coders of the Caribbean hackathon was staged by the Next Gen Creators, a non-profit organization which started in 2015. It was geared towards providing a platform for aspiring and existing developers across the region to showcase their skills and create solutions to the world's biggest problems. Prime Minister Andrew Holness recently announced that the long-awaited environmental impact assessment will inform his administration's decision on mining in the Cockpit country, and that has now been completed. Speaking at the recently held Dembe Agricultural, Industrial and Food Show in Clarendon, Mr. Holness declared that no decision has been made in regards to mining in the environmentally sensitive area. He said the government he leads had taken into consideration the objections by non-governmental organizations and residents of Trelawney and the wider Jamaica, who are vehemently opposed to the granting of bauxite mining licenses to Naranda Bauxite Company to operate within the boundaries of the Cockpit country. The Olympic Gardens Health Center was formally adopted by Ms. Anne-Marie Murray Brown on Monday under the Ministry of Health and Wellness's Adopt a Clinic program. Ms. Brown is a member of the diaspora residing in Holland. The purpose of the adoption is to help improve the physical infrastructure and to provide equipment where necessary to the health center. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton was on hand for the ceremony.
What we want are people to visit their health centers before they go hospital. Because when you go hospital first, you crowd out the hospital and you bypass the health center. And that's why the prevention message is so important. We are happy that we have Ms. Anne-Marie Brown to adopt this facility. She has committed to giving $1 million a year for the next 3 years. Give her a round of applause.
For her part, Ms. Murray encouraged the community to get into the spirit of giving back.
I want to say to her and all the little girls from this community, I am just like you, but I had a dream. And from that dream, I went to school, studied very hard. Now, I live in the Netherlands, I work in Switzerland, I work in Italy, and I also work in Jamaica. These are products from this very same community. I want to encourage you today to give back. It's not about me. It's about you. It's about the community. It's about the health center. You might say, I don't have much to give. We all have our God-given talent. We might not have it financially, but we can give our time. From you're alive, you have time. You can give your time. If you're a carpenter or hairdresser, whatever you have, you can give and give back.
The Health and Wellness Ministry has earmarked 100 health centers across the island for support from local and international persons, groups and corporate entities, with the aim of strengthening primary healthcare facilities. Cancer has become the second leading cause of death in the Caribbean, and despite this growing burden, many Caribbean small island nations have health systems that struggle to provide optimal cancer care for their populations. In a paper published in the Lancet, one of the world's leading general medical journal, it's noted, quote, cancer causes a fifth of deaths in the Caribbean and region, and this incidence is increasing, end quote. The paper noted that cancer control in small island nations and places emphasis on the crucial role of collaborative approaches, including through funding and investment opportunities with more developed countries, to create comprehensive cancer control programs to improve cancer planning and prevention, as well as treatment in these under-resourced small island nations. In other news, the United States has announced new rules that aim to deny permanent residency and citizenship to migrants who receive food stamps, Medicaid, and other public welfare. The new rules threaten to set back the citizenship hopes of millions of mostly Hispanic migrants who work for low wages and depend in part on public services to get by. Announcing a new definition of the long-standing public charge law, the White House said migrants will be blocked from entering the country if they are likely to need public assistance. In addition, those already in the United States using public services will not be able to obtain green cards or U.S. citizenship. The ruling could impact some 22 million non-citizen legal residents of the country and the estimated 10.5 million unauthorized immigrants, most of them long-term residents. The 2019 game bird shooting season will open on Saturday, August 17 and close on Sunday, September 22. That's according to the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA. Under the Wildlife Protection Game Birds Declaration of Shooting Season Order 2019, the season hunting sessions are from sunrise to 9 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. to sunset on Saturdays, and from sunrise to 9 a.m. on Sundays. Only the following birds must be hunted: Zenada dove or pea-dove, white-winged dove, white-crowned pigeon, bald-plate and mourning dove, long-tailed pea-dove. The U.S. dollar on Monday, August 12, ended trading at Jamaican $135.42, down by 4 cents. And that's according to the Bank of Jamaica's daily foreign exchange trading summary. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $102.05, up from $100.98. While the British pound sterling ended trading at 163 Jamaican dollars 44 cents, up from Jamaican $161.24. In regional news, fired Trinidad Public Administration Minister Marlene MacDonald failed to appear in court to face fraud charges on Monday after she was hospitalized.
MacDonald was scheduled to appear in court on Monday after the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions gave instructions for her and 4 others to be charged with several offenses of conspiracy to defraud. MacDonald also faces additional charges of misbehavior in public office. The others charged are her common-law husband, Michael Carew, along with Victor McCochrane, Wayne Anthony, and Edgar Zephyrin. All the charges stem from offenses allegedly committed over the 2008 to 2009 period. MacDonald, who has now been fired 3 times from the cabinet, was detained along with her husband last Thursday after a search warrant was executed at their home. The other 3 accused were arrested over the weekend.
MacDonald's attorney, senior counsel Pamela Elder, said that her client had been admitted at the St. Clair Medical Center after complaining of being unwell. She criticized the police for keeping her locked up for an extended period before charging her.
The reason given by the police officers was that they had not been able to process the other accused, and therefore, although she had been charged, she was forced to remain in police custody. And when one considers how long she has been in custody, it is not surprising that she has ended up here this morning. I will do whatever is necessary because what has happened here should never have happened. From the inception of her arrest, she was told that there were reasonable grounds to suspect that she had committed certain offenses. So if the police has reasonable grounds to suspect, then why wait so long to charge? And if after charging, why not ensure that the person is released and attend the court this morning?
Meantime, former Port of Spain Mayor Leasing is suggesting that more public officials should be worried about finding themselves in a similar position to McDonald.
We have opened the Pandora box, and it means that all public officials, all, not necessarily politicians, which is the politicians which represent the elected body, but the appointed body, those people who sit as permanent secretaries and heads of departments and chief executive officers of state enterprises and what have you. All such groupings must come to realize that they are given a trust, which is to say, you are responsible to look after the affairs of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. What has happened to in this last 24 hours will suggest to me that it might well be the start of a number of inquiries coming to a head.
In other regional news, the St. Lucia government is strongly opposing demands from online travel agency Bookings.com for a portion of the service charge paid to hospitality workers. The Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association had already rejected the proposal, calling it grossly unfair and regressive. We get more in this HTS News report.
That 15% commission on employee service charge. But Minister of Tourism and Chairman of the Caribbean Tourism Association, Dominic Fede, says he will stand firm in opposition to this.
Well, it's unconscionable that anyone would try to have a commission on employee service charge. I think that those figures should be going to the employees.
The minister says he thinks the request is unreasonable and unethical.
Because not only is it inhumane, but I think it goes against the very good practice of business ethics. And I believe that it is something that needs to be reviewed as quickly as possible.
Fede says he will not support the request by Booking.com. As a matter of fact, he seeks to champion the cause. He says he will do all in his power to oppose the booking agency.
And I would want to call on Booking.com to do its best to review that policy. I'm going to be using my position as the chairman of CTO. We will be writing to Booking.com to support our private sector partners. I know the CHTA has already written to them, and I hope that this gets changed because we have to ensure that we do everything to protect the rights and to protect the well-being of the employees of the industry.
Tourism Minister Dominic Fede says he plans to use resources at his disposal to challenge the request by Booking.com on behalf of the workers.
In sports, we kick off with football. Donovan Dookie, head coach of the Reggae Boys under-23 team during dismal showings at recent tournaments, said both he and his assistant did their part to try and get the team in prime physical shape, but ultimately he said the requisite expertise was too big a task. He lamented that the quote, gas in the car has to be the physical training to carry out the tactical instructions, end quote, given by coaches. The team, regarded as one of the most talented under-23 groups in recent times, was humiliatingly eliminated from the 2020 Olympic Games qualifiers on home soil last month. They drew 1-1 against both Dominica and St. Kitts and Nevis, leaving the latter team to progress as the group winner. The Pan American Games in Lima, Peru kicked off days later, with Jamaica finishing 6th after 1 victory and 3 losses in 4 outings. They conceded a combined 9 goals while scoring 3 times. In other sporting news, the Cayman Islands Football Association, CIFA, could soon resume getting full funding from World Football governing body FIFA. This was confirmed by FIFA boss Gianni Infantino. Here are the details.
Charges against former President Jeffrey Webb. Mr. Infantino said although the decision does not solely fall on him to decide whether FIFA will get their funding back, he is happy with the direction of football in the country.
Well, it's not my decision. It's a decision of the Audit and Compliance Committee that is gathering in the next couple of weeks. And as it looks like, the situation is very positive. There are still some checks going on, of course, but it looks very positive.
Now, after FIFA presented Mr. Infantino and his delegation with their plans of building football in the country, as well as past projects, Infantino said he is confident in FIFA's current administration in spite of the arrest of former, now suspended, first Vice President Bruce Blake on corruption charges yesterday.
I don't know enough about what happened yesterday, about the charges or the investigation or what have you. What I can say is what I said even at my Congress several times. I mean, we have full trust in the authorities as well when they do their work.
And that's the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom. Pleasant viewing.